back to my channel. It's Gita here. So lovely to join you all again in this digital space. I am excited to present to you a hashtag that I would like to put out there, and if anybody's interested in joining, that would be really cool. It's inspired by a concept that was thrown out in a live I watched a few months back on the Tiger's Abyss channel, Zach from the Tiger's Abyss. They were talking about popular tarots and sort of tarots that are really sort of trendy, that have become really trendy in recent years, like the Wild Unknown, the Light Sears Tarot, Moonchild, these tarots that come out and they just kind of develop a cult following. And for some reason or the other, we all end up buying them because they're just so raved about, and they're like these modern classics. And somebody in that chat said that these modern trendy tarots, they said they're like, that's a pop tarot. So it was a term that was thrown out in the chat that was just fantastic, and I loved it. And Zach was having fun with it, and he was like, yeah, Moonchild, that's a pop tarot. Light Sears tarot, that's a pop tarot. And I thought it was fantastic, because just like pop music, it is pop music. It something about it is so listenable, so enjoyable, so accessible and marketable for everybody, right? But at the same time, it may not be your taste, it may not be your particular taste, but you will end up enjoying it. And that's what constitutes like a pop tarot or a pop song or a pop movie. It's these things, they're these just, yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling now. But the point I'm trying to make is I struggle to connect with a lot of these pop tarots or bring them home. I do have a couple. Like I have the Moonchild tarot. I have the Moonchild tarot here, and I do struggle to connect with it for whatever reason. I feel that by the time I brought it home, I had been so overwhelmed with all the sort of subliminal marketing I had received prior to receiving this deck, that it was hard for me to connect with it, because I knew that my opinion of this deck was already very much influenced by the reviews and the media and the Instagram posts and all that shit I had seen of it before getting it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I resist decks. I find myself resisting decks that are really popular. The Light Sears Tarot, for example, a beautiful, beautiful tarot that I know would probably work well for me. And I know my friends, I know people who I read for would love it. They would see it and they'd be like, oh my God, this is so pretty, But something about it is so popular and mainstream that I have a hard time personally connecting with it. And I think that's a key word here that I've been dancing around, couldn't find this whole time. Mainstream. Pop tarots are mainstream popular decks, I suppose. Anyway, so because I struggle to connect with these pop tarots, and I think what's interesting is that there's a transition between when something is popular and contemporary and trendy and new, and then the transition period to when it becomes aged and it becomes a classic, And there's definitely decks that I like that were probably pop tarots of their time, but now they're classics. And therefore I have a connection with them. I have a different appreciation for them. But anyway, the point of this video is to show you some decks that I have acquired that I feel scratch my itch for some popular decks on the market, pop tarots, and they may very well scratch or satisfy your itch as well. So anyway, let's do it. First one we're going to do is, because we were talking about the Light Sears Tarot, let's take a look at this one. This is the Bright Future Tarot. This is a less popular deck, also very affordable. I know the Light Sears Tarot is mass market. This is not mass market. It's independently published. You can purchase it on Etsy from the creator for only like 30 bucks. Like, it's not expensive. Beautiful cardstock. And you know how the Light Sears Tarot is just everyday. It's very relatable, very accessible. The court cards are like everyday people. You can totally see, it very much reflects the world around you, and yet it has a little bit of a bohemian flair to it. This is also, it's a similar, to me, this is a similar flavor to the Light Sears Tarot. And I think that the Light Sears Tarot feels very young. And this one feels a little more mature, like for maybe just a little more of a mature crowd. Yeah. Art style is, you know, similar paintings, warm. It has, this deck also has a lot of, the Light Sears Tarot feels very, I get a lot of beachy vibes from that deck, and this gives me some beachy vibes as well. There's a few cards that I'll show you in particular. The Light Sears Tarot has beautiful diversity. This deck has beautiful diversity. And like, again, this is an example of just really making it like very everyday. It has both this tarot and the Light Sears Tarot do a great job of translating the traditional symbolism into modern scenarios, you know? The images are very, very thought-provoking. They're not Rider-Waite-Smith clones, but the symbolism and the meaning is there. And I think this deck, like the Light Sears, is very readable and very accessible for a lot of clients, and definitely a good one to have if you were a professional reader, or, you know, somebody that's reading for people and you want that deck that can work for a lot of people. But let me show you let me show you some of the beachy cards that I was talking about for the beachy vibe. I haven't worked with this deck that much, I'm going to be completely honest. And there's a couple versions. See, this is beachy. There's a couple versions. You can get a version with keywords as well, which is cool. I prefer not to have keywords. I haven't worked with this deck that much, but I'm really happy to have it in my collection because it really scratches that itch for me. Love this King of Cups. Love this Page of Cups. Love this Seven of Swords. Love this Four of Swords. I absolutely love this Four of Swords so much because this is my respite when I need some rest and relaxation and to rejuvenate and rest my mind. I go to the ocean for that. Or I at least, yeah, I look at the ocean for that. But anyway, I think this is this deck has satisfied my desire for a deck similar to the Light Sears Tarot, which I may end up getting at some point in time, but I want to work with this one first. Okay, next one is the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is a popular tarot produced by Llewellyn. Our friend Julie at Peekaboo Rose, she has helped to popularize this tarot, definitely, because it's one of her favorite decks. And it's so cute. I do want it one of these days. I am thinking about getting it because I love Llewellyn cardstock. But I have not done that yet. I have not purchased it yet. And why? Because I found this deck that kind of fills a similar void for me. The Book of Shadows Tarot. This is a Llewellyn deck. I'm not a Llewellyn. Well, yeah, Llewellyn, because Llewellyn also publishes Lo Scarabeo, but it's a Lo Scarabeo published deck. A great deck similar to Everyday Witch in that it really just merges the mundane and the magical. So every card has both, you know? You see witches living their lives every day, interacting with the people and the spirits and the elements in and around their life. Um, and I love that the suits are kind of really clearly distinct. Like each in the minor arcana, you always have like a little energy spirits, I don't know, mythical spirits in each of the suits. So the chalices, you have like these little water sprites. Pentacle suits, you often have gnomes. This deck has diversity in it, which is really cool. Sword suits, you have fairies. It's really cute. And if you want that everyday witch type of vibe, this is definitely like an everyday witchy deck, you know? It's definitely just everyday mundane magic, and it's cool. I love this. I love this King of Cups. Look at him, school teacher. So because I have this deck, I have not felt the need to get the Everyday Witch Tarot yet, because I'm happy to continue to work with this one and continue to bond with this one as my everyday witchy deck. As above, so below. This deck is actually a two-part deck. So there's a second tarot called As Above, and this one's So Below. And As Above focuses more on the Wheel of the Year, but this one focuses on the earthly realm. And yeah, a cheap little deck, and very underrated. Okay. Next one I'm going to show you is an alternative to the popular Santa Muerte Tarot by Fabio Lestrani. That's also a Llewellyn deck. Skull theme, beautiful deck, very colorful. I've been tempted by it. There's a few cards in there that are really beautiful. But I came across this deck on an Etsy shop. There's a publisher in the Ukraine called Dark Cinema, a bunch of artists, really talented artists, and they're creating beautiful art for tarot. And the tarots are reasonably, a lot of them are affordably priced, or at least they're always on sale, like really, really discounted. So anyway, this is the Santa Muerte Tarot. The backs are gorgeous. I love the color. The other Santa Muerte Tarot by Fabio Lestrani is really, really bright, really psychedelic. And I like how this is like more earthy tones. And this one to me is more so, I see witches and I see witches and people like devotees of Santa Muerte worshiping and paying respects and honoring her. Like this is, to me, this is like a very like ritual deck, whereas the other Santa Muerte tarot focuses, the illustrations are of like Santa Muerte is a spirit, right? But this one is more so, I feel like the people that pay her, that pay her dues. That makes sense. I love the vibe of this deck. It's just a whole vibe, and I love the diversity in this deck. I really like the way that the way that the suits are set out. Look at this guy. Oh my gosh. Amazing. This is such a hidden gem. Such a gem. Look at this Hierophant looking like the Baron Samedi. Is that the guy, the guy's name? The Voodoo or Hoodoo? I have no idea how. I'm sure this deck is really inaccurate, and maybe even like just, I don't know. It's probably really inaccurate like culturally and all that stuff. But I'm sorry. I'm here for the aesthetic. I'm here for the aesthetic, and I feel a connection. I don't I don't work with Santa Muerte specifically, but I do feel that connection because I am a Taurus, and therefore Scorpio is my opposite sign. So I have a fascination with, and I'm drawn to death like a moth to a flame. You know, I do really enjoy contemplating death and anticipating death, you know. But anyway, so yes, I would be interested in uh working more closely and learning more about Santa Muerte, which is why I purchased this deck um, as a inspiration to do so in the future. Okay, so next one, the next one, you guys know I'm a beach girl, Bermuda represent, you know, I love the ocean, and if there's one theme of tarots in my collection that I am unashamed about growing, it's my collection of ocean theme decks. And the I have I have the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. I purchased that. I was able to purchase that last year. I got it on sale along with another deck I'm going to show you. But as an alternative to that one, because I was on the fence about the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot for the longest time, right? And I have it and I love it. But I know it may not be everybody's jam. And if it's not your jam, maybe this one is. The Undersea Tarot. I love this. I love the art in this deck. It's a U.S. Games published deck. The artwork is by Giselle Sanchez Martinez. Anyway, it's very comic-y. But what I like about this mermaid tarot, what's different from others, is that it shows you different races of mermaids, which that really resonates with my understanding of mermaids. You know, not all mermaids look the same. There are like kind of different species, and some with, you know, some they're different, man. They're going to be different in different parts and different areas, and you see that here. Some of the mermaids have got like fish heads and human bodies, and some of them have fish tails and human heads. And yes, I want diversity in my mer people, damn it. And I'm thankful that this deck brings some element of diversity to the merfolk, because that's how I experience them. What I also like about this deck is that it feels a little more masculine, a little more yang energy, whereas the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot is very quirky, very feminine, a little queer. And this one is not. This one's a little more like cis straight male gaze, and I'm cool with that. You know, I like to have different viewpoints in my tarot. Like, you can see the way the women's breasts are drawn. It's a little Baywatchy, but this is a fun one. I'm glad to have this in my collection. And if you've been looking for the ideal mermaid tarot, maybe this is the one for you. And what's cool about this and differs it from the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot is this is very much, you know, like a focusing on the merfolk and how they interact and how they're living life in the deep sea, whereas the Mermaid Tarot, it focuses, you see more like coastal scenes and mermaids kind of out of water or semi-submerged in the water. And this one, most of the mermaids are fully submerged, which I like. I like it. I like it. If you are an Atlantean or have an affinity for Atlantis, then I think you would appreciate this Mermaid Tarot. It's called the Undersea Tarot, a pop tarot alternative to the Mermaid Tarot by Dame Darcy or the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson, because there's a Llewellyn one. I have that one too. And then there's the Tarot Cyrene, and also the Mermaid Tarot by Lo Scarabeo, which I don't have. And those are all popular tarots, but this could be an alternative to those. Okay, so the next tarot I'm going to show you is is a alternative again to another deck, another pop tarot that I would say Julie from Peekaboo Rose has had a hand in popularizing, and that is the Tarot